Hello, Slated for Grace friend. If you've joined us in our Bible study series for the last few years, or you're just joining us for the first time, we are so overjoyed that you're a part of us. Today, July 16th, 2026, begins a 7-day stretch at Slated for Grace that we call Bye Week. It's that time frame between our Bible study series where you have a chance to catch up on parts of the previous series you may have missed, explore other Slated for Grace series under the Collections tab of your Patreon app, and very importantly, it is a time to invite people you love into our online community so that they can dig in with us for our next Bible study series. Now, I have two big announcements in this brief video today. Number one, we have just completed our 6-week study called Seeds, Planting God's Purposes into Everyday Life. And guess what? We have released our first ever Slated for Grace podcast Bible series wrap-up. Now, in this podcast, which you can find on your Patreon app, Spotify, and Apple Music, women from our Slated for Grace community join me in a real-life roundtable discussion where we authentically wrestle with the question, what do we do now? Whether you joined us for our seed study or not, this podcast episode is going to give you a grand overview of the sessions and practical steps in drawing closer to the Lord through seeds. So make sure you make room to listen to that podcast in these next 7 days. That's my first announcement. My second announcement is this. Seeds has a sequel. Did you know this? And that sequel is our next Bible study series. On Thursday, July 23rd, our entire Slated for Grace community will begin digging into towers, building a life rooted in humility. If we were created with the purpose of planting seeds in the fields God has given to each of us, then that means we need to plant our feet on the ground. However, since the beginning of Genesis, this world has tried to convince us that we need to exalt ourselves, reach higher, climb corporate ladders, move up in the world. What if that mentality is actually quite the opposite of the abundant life God has for us? In Towers, we will continue the conversation of living our lives planted in His purposes, and it all begins with humility. Humility helps us grow our roots deep into the ground, deeper into His purposes. And when we build our lives rooted in humility, Scripture says that the Lord will exalt us. He will raise us up and mature us into mighty trees. In fact, the prophet Isaiah proclaimed 2,500 years ago that those who build their lives on the Lord, they will be called oaks of righteousness, a planting of the Lord for the display of His splendor. So, get excited. We're going to explore so many powerful stories of humility in the Scriptures. There was a king named Nebuchadnezzar, a baptizer named John, a guy named Naaman, and of course, it all comes back to Jesus, the ultimate image of humility exalted. If you like walking through our studies with the printable version, donate any amount to our nonprofit ministry under the Printables tab at slatedforgrace.com and download your personal copy today. But here's your challenge for today. Forward this video to some friends. Invite them along in our study. Hey, your invitation is a seed planted. Remember to check out our Slated for Grace podcast on Patreon, Spotify, or Apple Music, and I will see you on Thursday, July 23rd for Towers. Love you, friend.